was just sitting here thinking today about all of the theater that my friend and I have done over the last 13 years. And because yesterday I made a video of, I took all the pictures that I had all over my house, all over, I had pictures in my computer. I have a couple of computers. I had computer pictures there. I had pictures in my phone. And I screenshotted some that were only on Facebook of all the shows we've done for the last 13 years and that our company has been involved. And I ended up putting them all on, I used iMovie and I just put them all in chronological order. Chose some of my favorites and just some silly ones and put them all on this video. And it's a 12.5-minute video. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, I'm so proud of us because we didn't know what we were getting. We were stupid enough to think that we could do this. And it's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of learning. And so in doing so, I got to thinking about how being involved in theater has really helped me. And I have 10 things that I want to share with you about how theater has helped me in my life. Not just our theater. We've been doing it for 13 years and I've learned a lot because I had to be responsible for everything. People were paying money, good money, to see what we produced. And we were lucky that we just broke even most times. That's all we wanted. We weren't out there to make money. We were out there to just have fun. So the first thing that theater has done for me is, as I've said in other videos, if you watched any of mine, I'm an introvert. I've always been an introvert, and I was extremely shy as a child. So it's really helped me overcome that and to not care. Because when you're in a show and you have to do something stupid, you have to do something stupid, and you just get used to it, and it's okay. It doesn't matter what people are thinking. And it's given me the confidence to do this, and which is number 2 is confidence. It's given me confidence to sit here and talk to my phone. I'm just sitting there talking to you. It's given me the confidence to share my story, to share things about my life. And I would have never done that before. One of the third, number third, I can talk, really. I really do. And I really do know how to do this. It's really good for my brain, my mind, because it requires a lot of memorization. I did a show, I played the part of Louise in Always Patsy Cline several years ago. And I was the storyteller, and then the other gal played Patsy Cline, and she sang the songs, and I told the story. And it's a true story. It's a really cool show. Louise was somebody who met Patsy Cline she was like a big fan, and she ended up meeting her. And so it's I was the one telling the story. And it was like notebook page, typewritten pages of dialogue. I had all the lines. It was a lot, but I memorized it, and it was so much fun. So it's really good for your brain to memorize and use that part of your mind. It's really important. That's the most important part. As an actor, you better know your freaking part. And the fourth thing is communication. I've learned good communication skills. You can't tell it by listening to my videos, maybe, but I do know how to communicate. And especially as a director, I've directed 7 shows now, and I have to be able to communicate with my cast to get them to do what I want them to do, or to convey what I think that they should. If they're not delivering the line right, I need to be able to correct them in a nice way, which I'm very good at. I can be very tactful. I always preface, when I start directing, I always preface that if I'm correcting you, it's just for the good of the show. It's never personal, and it isn't. It's never personal. It's always, this is what the show needs for it to be. If you got to say this line right, or you're not going to get a laugh. I want them to be successful just as much as anything, the whole show. If they're successful, the show will be. And if they're having fun, then the audience will have fun. So it's really important to communicate. And so I've learned how to communicate better and confidently, where when I first started, I thought, oh God, I can't tell people what to do. How do I tell people what to do? But you just do, because I can see the whole story. I can see the whole stage. They're only seeing it from their point of view. So I can help them. I get the big picture. The next one, the fifth thing is, it's taught me trust. When you're on, when you hear a lot about sports and team sports, and they have to trust each other and all that, you really have to trust each other when you're acting, because you've got to trust that whoever's in the scene with you is going to remember their part, and they're going to say the right line and deliver the right line so that you know what your cue is. You have to know their part kind of too. It's a lot. There's a lot of time goes into this, and so you have to learn to trust each other. And I was in a show, oh God, about 20 years ago, with a lady who had just been diagnosed with diabetes, and it was a musical. It was freaking hilarious. It's my favorite show I've ever done. It was Ruthless, the musical. And I was playing the part of Judy Denmark / Ginger Del Marco. And the lady, I guess normally on Broadway they have a guy in drag playing the part that the other lady played, but she was, it was a different show every night, because she'd skip pages of and I'm thinking, oh shit, what did she just say? I have a line coming up, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to get us back on track. It was very stressful. So trust is huge. But these are skills. All these things are skills that will help you in the rest of your life, not just when you're on stage. The sixth thing is, you laugh a lot. I get to laugh a lot when I do theater. Not just during rehearsal, things happen. People say stupid things or dumb stuff happens, and you always end up laughing. There are times when I'm thinking, oh God, I don't want to go to rehearsal. And then I go, and it's like, oh my God. And then I always end up feeling better, because I'm laughing because somebody does something stupid every time. And it gets boring, it's like, oh God, as a director especially, because you're just sitting there. Once everybody kind of knows they're blocking, and they know, they're off book, and they're just going through the show every night. It's like, oh God, I have to listen to this show again. Is it even funny? And then something happens, and it's great. So it does get boring to have to sit there as the director, but every once in a while something really silly happens, and it makes it all worthwhile. And then opening night happens, and it's definitely worth it. The seventh reason, I think I'm on 7. I'm kind of lost count. It gets me out of the house. I like today, I went to the mailbox. Did I? No, I didn't even go to the mailbox. Yes, I did. I got rid of my cardboard. I cleaned up some stuff in here. You can't tell by looking at it, but I could be a mole. I could be a hermit and never leave my house, and I'd be fine. So it gets me out of the house and gets me around other people, and I always enjoy myself. But anyway, that's a big thing for me. It also, this would be the 8th thing, I think. I've learned new skills. I've learned a lot from other directors. I've learned skills as a director. I've thought about how different live theater is as opposed to like movies or TV. One of the things I notice is I recently rewatched the show The Bear, which I loved the first time, and I've loved it the second time, because the latest season 5 just came out, so I had to watch it all over again because I couldn't remember anything. And I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, oh wow, I don't remember them. What was that about? I forgot. Oh, so that's why they're talking about that. And I realized the first time I watched it, I was looking at the acting, I was looking at the set and all the technical stuff. I was looking at all the pieces, but not the story. I wasn't really focusing so much on the story as I was the acting or the, the technical stuff. So that's what I do now. When I watch movies, a lot of times I end up dissecting what they're doing and how they delivered their lines and all that. So it's maybe isn't always a good thing, but it's shown me some technical skills that I didn't have before. The ninth thing I think is one of the most important thing is I have new friends. We've kind of gathered a troupe of actors over the years because each show, that was my chair, not me. If you heard that noise, it was not me, I swear. I scooted on this stool I'm sitting on. We have, each show, you have a different cast, obviously. And in our community, we don't have a huge pool of actors to work with. We have, especially men, really have a hard time finding men who want to do this because it's a huge time commitment. That I will say. You have to, rehearsals, a lot of rehearsals. And I refuse to not have a show that's ready on opening night. That's just not an option. So, but anyway, I've made so many new friends because because each show has a new cast, a lot of the same ones and then some new ones. So it's become like this little family, and which is great. I love that part about it. Actually, the very first show I did was back in 2004, and I had made all these friends. It was like I had just moved to town, or I'd only been to town less than a year, and I didn't know anybody because I was working all the time. Well, I changed jobs and I had free time. I wasn't in retail anymore, so I could actually go be involved in something. And I made these friends, and I made this one friend, and we, went. I saw everybody like 3 times a week for a couple months, and then 4 times a week, and then the shows, and it was over. And it was like, where'd everybody go? I was so, I kind of got depressed because I had spent all these hours with these people for 2.5 months, 3 months, and then all of a sudden everybody was gone and it was over. So I had to get in another show. Just have to do another show. So you make new friends, and that's a cool thing. And the number 10 thing is the magic of opening night is the coolest thing. It's taught me that I have to let go of control. I mean, I do try to control everything while we're rehearsing and pulling it together. And then at some point you just have to let go and just let it be what it is. And I'm telling you, something magic happens on opening night. There have been times where, oh my God, our very, very first show we found enough people to do what we needed done. And our sound guy, there was a part in it was Leading Ladies by Ken Ludwig, which is a very funny show. We had, there was a scene where this couple, they were supposed to dance, and there was just supposed to be music. And it was just a couple minutes before, we're sitting behind the audience, watching the show and watching everybody laugh. Oh, that's the coolest thing. And the sound guy goes, I can't get it to work. The CD's not going to play. It's not going to play. It's not playing. It's like, shit. So we're back there, pulling, looking at wires, trying to figure out what's going on. And then all of a sudden, it works just as we needed it. And so it's like those kind of things. That's the cool thing about live theater, too, is that it's alive. There's no, you mess up. Hopefully that's the trust thing. Hopefully somebody there will bail you out if you can't remember your line. That's where the trust really comes in that I talked about. But the magic that's the best part. So many silly things happen in live theater. It's so much more than like it's so much different than like a movie or a TV. I have a friend who actually was in the show Hill Street Blues several years ago. and he became a recurring character. And he said what's really hard about that is you have to emote with this camera right here in your face, and you just can't think about that. And I'm thinking, whoa. And then, in movies, a lot of times they shoot the end of the movie before they've even done any of the other stuff. And so you have to come up with all this emotion that would have been building through the course of the movie on the first day or something. And with community theater, with live theater, you get immediate response. You get, when you do comedy, you get out there, you're rehearsing, oh, I'm so bored with this. Is it even funny? And then you get out on stage, you deliver a line, and somebody in the audience just busts up laughing. Oh, it is the best feeling. It is the best feeling. It's like a drug. It's better than any drug I've ever taken. I've taken a few. It just elevates your performance because it feeds you. You get that energy from the audience. It feeds the actors. So if you're in an audience and it's a comedy, laugh out loud. We always tell our audience before we start, laugh out loud and often. Don't hold back, because it not only is good for, it's proven that laughter is good for your soul, but it's also good for the actors. It feeds the actors, and it will elevate their performance. I've been in front of audiences that would just, they don't do anything, and it's work. You have to work, and not, it's not as fun because you're not getting that feedback. So I would definitely rather do live theater, even though you get no do-overs. You forget, like the show we did a couple of years ago was called Wrong Window. And it was a spoof of Rear Window. And then several of Alfred Hitchcock movie titles were worked into the dialogue. It was a really funny show. But there was a point, the guy that was supposed to do the part couldn't do it, so somebody had to step in at the on dress rehearsal. Somebody had to take over the part on dress rehearsal. So that was fun. But he carried a script the first couple of nights, but he had been the sound guy, so he kind of knew what was going on. But then one of our performances, they're out there, and I'm backstage because I ended up having to take a part that I didn't want, but I had to take a little part in it. I directed it, but I had to take this small part because the girl that was going to do it got hurt. So I'm backstage with, the crew back there, and all of a sudden we're going, wait, what are they doing? Why are they there? They had skipped ahead like 4 pages in the script, and we're all scrambling back there, because there's cues, there's things that they have to do backstage. So it's like, where are they? So shit like that happens, and they're fun. It's kind of a panicky moment, but it all worked out. That show was just a little bit shorter than the other ones. But anyway, it's so fun. If you have an opportunity to get involved in your local community theater, please do it. It's really fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. But what else are you going to be doing? If you're just sitting around in the evening, then go do theater because it's fun. Yeah, we've had lots of mishaps. Lots of crazy things have happened. And I've lived to tell about it. Another show. This was back in, I think in 2007. I played Vera in the show Mame, and Vera is a lush, but I had to sing this song. The Man in the Moon is a lady, and so it was a play within a play, that part. I was singing, I was performing, and had this stupid outfit on. And then the dancers were dancing around me, and they all had planets on their heads. It was really stupid. And Saturn fell off of somebody's head and started rolling across the stage. And it's like, oh my God. So you just sit there and think, oh, great, the show must go on. So they're trying to casually pick up Saturn and put it back on her head. And then in the meantime, I stepped on her foot, broke the top of her foot. Oh my God. I mean, it was a crazy thing. And then a few years later, I think it was the next year, we did Into the Woods, and I was the baker's wife. And so it was me, the baker, and Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk. If you've ever seen Into the Woods, you'd know. And there was a scene where there was supposed to be a hen was supposed to come out and lay an egg, I guess. I think she was supposed to lay an egg. I don't remember exactly. Well, they had put, the guy who was doing the props had put this chicken on a remote control car and was operating it from the wings, and it would come out, and Jack would pick it up and do what he had to do. Well, that night, somebody had changed the batteries in the car. So when he turned it on, it just went and fell right into the pit, the orchestra pit right in front of us. It's like, we just looked around like, what do we do? So we kind of walked over to the edge and looked over, and everybody in the audience is just howling. And so the conductor hands us the chicken. Oh God, it was crazy. Yeah. So shit happens. And I just figured, well, I'd get an extra laugh, It's all fun. So anyway, I've kind of rambled on for quite a while, and if you're even here, I hope you're still here. If you're not, oh well. It's okay. I just hope that you will give community theater a chance, or any kind of theater. So many good things came out of it. I met my best friend because of theater. And of course, we have our own theater thing, and it's a lot of work, but we do it, and we have a lot of fun. So, do it. You can do it. I really recommend it. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope if you made it this far, would you please? I've been asking this, and I haven't seen anybody do it yet because nobody's getting to the end of my videos probably. But if you made it this far, would you please, please, please comment and say, I made it, and then I'll know. I would be so excited. Okay, I hope you have a great day, great evening, great whatever, and I'll talk to you later.